I am 94 years old, and I've been living on a fixed income for nearly 30 years now. 30 years of watching prices go up while my check stayed the same. 30 years of learning the difference between what I want and what I actually need. And I am not here to scare you. I am here because I wish someone had sat me down at 65 and told me what I am about to tell you right now. Because nobody prepares you for this part. They teach you how to earn money. They never teach you how to survive when the earning stops. I worked my whole life, 41 years. I paid my taxes, raised my children, put money away when I could. I did everything they told me to do. And when I retired, I thought I'd be comfortable. Not rich, just comfortable. I thought the math would work out the way they promised. But that first year, the grocery bill went up. The heating bill went up. My prescription costs went up. And my check just sat there, the same number, month after month. But the math doesn't care about your feelings. And it doesn't care about your pride either. If you are over 65 and you are feeling the squeeze, I want you to know you are not alone. And this message is for you. I remember the first month I realized my check wasn't going to stretch. I sat at this very table and counted it 3 times. Like counting it again would somehow change the number. It didn't. And that is when I started learning lessons I should have learned decades earlier. Number 1, a budget is not optional anymore. It is your lifeline. I know that sounds obvious, but I spent the first 3 years of my retirement pretending I still had a paycheck coming. I'd go to the grocery store and shop the way I always had. I'd say yes to every lunch invitation. I'd buy my grandchildren things I couldn't afford because admitting I needed a budget felt like admitting I'd failed. Like I was supposed to have more than this by now. And that shame kept me spending money I didn't have. It was my daughter who finally said it. Mama, you can't keep living like you are still earning. And I hated hearing it. But she was right. The day I sat down and wrote out every dollar coming in and every dollar going out was the day I finally stopped drowning. Your budget isn't a punishment. It is the only thing standing between you and a phone call you don't want to make. And I'll tell you something else. Once I had that budget, I slept better. Not because I had more money, but because I finally knew exactly where I stood. The not knowing was always worse than the truth. And here is what nobody tells you about this one. Number 2, stop saying yes to things your wallet is saying no to. This one almost ruined me because I was the generous one in my family. I was the grandmother who always brought gifts, the friend who always picked up the check, the woman who said, don't worry about it, even when I should have been very worried about it. I gave my grandson $200 for his birthday when I had $300 left for the month. I told myself I'd figure it out, and I did figure it out. I skipped my own medication for 2 weeks to cover the gap. Generosity that cost you your health isn't generosity. It is self-destruction wrapped in a pretty bow, and the people who love you would rather have you healthy than have your money. I promise you that. You can still be generous. Just be generous with your time, with your stories, with your presence at the table. Those gifts don't cost a thing, and they mean more than money ever will. My grandson told me last year that his favorite birthday gift was the year I couldn't afford anything, and just told him stories about his grandfather all afternoon. He said he still thinks about that day. That taught me something. The richest thing I own isn't in my bank account. It is in my memory, and nobody can put a price on that. But this next one might sting a little. Number 3, learn what help is available to you and stop being too proud to take it. I went 4 years without applying for programs I qualified for. 4 years because I thought those programs were for other people who were really struggling, people worse off than me. Meanwhile, I was cutting my pills in half to make them last longer. I was eating toast for dinner 3 nights a week. I was keeping the heat at 58 degrees in January because I was terrified of the electric bill. That is not strength, that is suffering in silence because you are too proud to raise your hand. And I am telling you right now, there is no dignity in going hungry when help exists. None. You paid into these systems your whole working life, every paycheck, every year. Taking help isn't weakness. It is collecting on a promise that was made to you decades ago. You earned it. The day I finally walked into that office and filled out those forms, I cried in the parking lot afterward. Not from shame, from relief. Because for the first time in years, I didn't have to choose between my groceries and my medicine. And I thought to myself, why did I wait so long? Why did I let pride starve me when help was right there the whole time? Stay with me. This one is important. Number 4, stop making financial decisions alone when you don't have to. After my husband passed, I handled everything alone. The bills, the insurance, the property taxes, things he'd always managed. And I was so determined to prove I could do it myself that I made mistakes I am still paying for. I signed up for a supplemental insurance plan I didn't need because a man on the phone made it sound urgent. That was $62 a month I threw away for over a year before my niece caught it. I refinanced my house when I shouldn't have because someone at the bank said it would save me money. It didn't. It cost me thousands in fees I didn't understand until it was too late. And every time something like that happened, I'd tell myself I should have known better. But the truth is, nobody knows everything, especially not when you are grieving and exhausted and trying to keep your whole world from unraveling at the same time. The smartest woman in the room is not the one who has all the answers. She is the one who brings somebody with her who can ask the right questions. You don't have to know everything, but you have to have someone you trust sitting next to you when the big decisions come. A daughter, a friend, a counselor at the senior center. Anyone who can say, wait, let me read that first. Asking for a second pair of eyes isn't admitting you can't handle it. It is making sure nobody takes advantage of the fact that you are trying to handle it alone. And now the last one, and I saved it for last because it is the one that still makes my voice shake. Number 5, stop letting money shame steal your joy. This is the one that took the most from me, not dollars, years, because I spent so many years feeling ashamed of what I didn't have that I forgot to enjoy what I did. I stopped inviting friends over because I was embarrassed by my apartment. I stopped going to church picnics because I couldn't bring a nice dish. I stopped visiting my sister because I couldn't afford gas, and I refused to let her pay. I shrank my whole world down to the size of what I could afford, and in doing that, I lost the things that were free all along: laughter, company, someone to sit with on a Sunday afternoon. I turned down invitations for years. My neighbor used to knock on my door every Saturday to walk to the park, and I'd say no, not because I didn't want to go, because I was afraid she'd want to stop for coffee and I couldn't afford to pay for mine. She stopped asking eventually, and I lost one of the only friendships I had left, over a cup of coffee I could have just said no to. That is what shame does. It makes you solve problems that don't exist by destroying things that do. I was 78 when my sister called me crying. She said, "Elena, I don't care about your money. I care about seeing your face." And I realized I'd been so busy protecting my pride that I'd been starving us both of the only thing that actually mattered. Money shame will convince you that you have nothing to offer, that you are less than, that your presence isn't enough without a gift or a check or a full refrigerator. And that is a lie. It is the cruelest lie that poverty tells. You are not your bank balance, you never were, and the people who love you don't count your money. They count the days since they last heard your voice. So here is what I want to leave you with tonight. Living on a fixed income is hard. I won't pretend it isn't. There are nights when the numbers don't add up and the worry sits on your chest like a stone. I've had those nights, more than I can count. But I've also learned that the women who survive this chapter aren't the ones with the most money. They're the ones who let go of shame, who ask for help, who build a plan, and who refuse to disappear just because their wallet got smaller. You are still standing after everything, and that alone is proof of something money could never buy. You are still here. You are still needed, and your life is not measured by what is in your checking account. It is measured by what is in your heart. And I can tell right now, yours is full. You didn't come this far to let a number on a piece of paper decide what you are worth. If this reached something inside you today, leave me a comment. Tell me which one you needed to hear the most. I read every single one. And I mean that. And if there is someone in your life who has been struggling quietly, someone too proud to ask for help, send her this tonight. Sometimes the bravest thing we do is let someone know they're not alone. Thank you for sitting with me. You didn't have to stay, but you did. And that tells me everything I need to know about you. Go easy on yourself tonight. You are doing better than you think.